Okay, let's do the summary on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Beis. We left off on Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph that our Mishnah, according to Rava, is speaking Kisheher Hinu Etzlai. The mashkin was placed into the home of the malva. So therefore, if the goy is the malva, we say that the goy was koine that mashkin, and therefore it's not considered chometz she'over lav Pesach. And if the yid was the malva, then we say that the chometz was in the reshus of the yid throughout Pesach, and therefore it would be aser bahana. The Gemara then brought a brisa that actually has a machloikis in the case where the goy borrowed money from the Jew, and the Jew had the mashkin of chometz by him. We had a machloikis as to whether or not that chometz is considered in the possession of the Jew and whether or not it will be aser. However, in the case where the Jew borrowed money from the goy, even though the mashkin was given to the goy, the brisa there says that everybody agrees that the chometz is considered in the possession of the yid who was the loiva, and not considered in the possession of the goy who was the malva, which would indicate that the bachaliv is not koine the mashkin. So the Gemara on Amud Beis explains that this concept of bachaliv koine mashkin is learnt from the Torah that tells us that if you have, let's say, a quilt of a loiva, you're a malva, you have the quilt of a loiva as your mashkin, the Torah says you should let the loiva use that quilt to sleep in overnight, and then just collect it from him in the morning. And the Torah says ulucha tia tzedakah. It'll be a tzedakah, it'll be a chesed that you were kind enough to let the loiva use this beged at night. So Rabbi Yitzchak points out, if the bachayv is not koine the mashkin, if the mashkin in fact belongs to the loiva, then it's not a tzedakah giving the loiva his mashkin back for the night. You're giving him his own thing. So the Torah telling you that giving back the mashkin at night is a tzedakah is also telling you, by definition, that you were koine the mashkin. And there's a shaila as follows: do you say that a bachayv is koine the mashkin even if the loiva is a goy, or maybe only if the loiva is a yid? And that's why the Bryce has two opinions. When a goy borrows money from a Jew, and the Jew has taken the chometz as a mashkin, there's a machlokes if that chometz is considered in the reshus of the Jew because he was koine the mashkin or not, and that would depend on whether or not you say that a bachayv is koine the mashkin, a Jewish bachayv is koine the mashkin from a goy or not. However, on the flip side, when a goy lends money to the Jew, and the Jew gave the goy the chometz as a mashkin, there everybody agrees bachayv einay koine mashkin, and therefore, if a Jew borrowed money from the goy and gave the goy chometz as a mashkin, even if that chometz is kept in the goy's house, the Jew is still over bal yiro bal yimotzei, because that chometz is still 100% his throughout Pesach. Based on that, the Gemara has difficulty understanding our Mishnah, because our Mishnah did say that when the Jew borrows money from the goy and the Jew gave the chometz as a mashkin to the goy, the Mishnah by us says that in fact it's mutter bana, it's not considered chometz shaval of a Pesach. How could that be if the goy was not koine the chometz, which was a mashkin, before Pesach? So our Gemara introduces another concept, and that's me'achshav. And that is, if when the Jew gave the goy his chometz as a mashkin, he said that if I don't pay you back by the due date, then from today, from the day of the loan, I want you to have already acquired my chometz. Then it will work. It'll be like a kinyan al atnai. I'm giving you the chometz today, I'm selling you the chometz today for the price of the loan if I don't pay you back the loan by the due date. And when you say ma'achshav, there for sure the goy will be koine the mashkin right away, and therefore it will not be considered chometz she'over lav Pesach. Then the Gemara gets into another interesting thing, and that is if there's a Jewish-owned store and all of the inventory belongs to the Jew, and you happen to have goyim who walk through the store on Pesach, and you find chametz on the floor in the store after Pesach. We don't say that chametz probably came from the goyim who were walking through. We say the chametz was probably in the store, and therefore it's aser b'hana if it wasn't sold or if there was no bittul made. However, on the flip side, if it was a non-Jewish owned store and all of the inventory was non-Jewish, and a Jew is walking through it on Pesach, and then after Pesach chametz is found in the store, there we will say that the chametz probably belonged to the guy, and it was mutar b'ana. Then the Mishnah talks about truma, that if you eat a kohen's truma on Pesach and it was chametz, where even though it's asher b'ana, you still have to pay back keren v'chaimish. And Rashi explains to us that when you eat someone's truma b'shoigig, the Torah says that you have to pay back keren v'chaimish, but it says v'noshon lakoin es hakodesh, and we learned that you're not supposed to pay back the kohen in cash; you have to pay him back in peiros. So we learn from there that you're not paying a monetary value of the truma. It has nothing to do with its cash value. You just have to replace those peiros. And therefore, even though when you ate the peiros of truma of the kohen on Pesach, it was asher b'ana, and you didn't damage the kohen at all, because that peiros had zero value to it, because it was chametz that was asher b'ana, nevertheless, you still have to pay back in peiros, because your payback has nothing to do with the value of the truma that you ate. However, if you ate that truma b'mezid, then it doesn't follow the rules of keren v'chaimish. There, it's just like you stole money from somebody, and therefore you would not have to pay back anything, because what you stole in this case had no value, because it was chametz that was asher b'hana.